Hey guys, it's jackpunkington here, and today we are doing an album review of Self-Titled by Middle Out. They are a three-piece Detroit punk rock band, and I'm gonna be honest, right off the bat, it's a really good album. Like, guys, it's a really good album. You've got Matthew Fisher on guitars and vocals, DJ Linden on bass and vocals, and you've got Daniel Stover on drums, also counting. That's what he was also listed as on their Bandcamp. This came out May 21st of this year. They are signed by Punkerton Records. Another band that I'm very familiar with that's signed by them is The Boy Detective. It's a really cool, like, local record label. And go check out, like, the record label and all the other bands associated. But check out Middle Out. Like, it's really good. It's a 12-song full-length LP, and it starts off with Content and Contention, which is it's a really short, like, intro song. It's a minute 30 seconds, and it gets you singing with them right away. This whole album harkens back to a mix of the early 2000s pop punk with a little bit of rasp to it. It's kind of a style I'm calling Detroit style punk, which is a mix of Midwest emo, raspy vocals that's, mixed with LA, Bay Area, California, whatever, pop punk. I can hear a lot of Blink-182 and a lot of Sum 41, like, inspirations, but I also, just with, like, the vocals, hear a lot of just Midwestern emo. So next we've got It's Not Me, It's You. I will say, like, all of these song titles are perfect. I love all of them. Tentament, and then Not So Bad, Ballerinas, Emo Night Barkley, makes me chuckle every time I read it. Silhouette, which probably has my favorite music video so far of the year. October Winds, Try to Forget, 401k is my favorite song straight off this album. Rocks, and then Lightning Strike. So this album came out last month, like I said, on the 21st, but every month from January to last month, they released a single to build up a kind of like excitement for the album, which I thought was a really cool idea, because a lot of times you'll see bigger bands release like one, maybe two, very rarely 3 singles, but it's not within like, oh, we're going to do one each month. It's like, say the album comes out in a year and a half. So at the beginning of that time frame, they'll release like one single, which will probably be the big hit off of the album that everyone really likes. And then about 6 months in, they'll release another single. And then about another 5, maybe 6 months, they'll release the last single. And then the album will come out maybe like 2 months later. The biggest example I can think of this is actually my favorite band, Gemini Syndrome. They did this for Third Rising. And, well, it was really good. I think this is a really cool direction, especially, I mean, this is a punk band, and I think this really fits a punk band. Having just a new single, building up as much exposure and excitement for this album. Because, there's a lot of material on this album. I mean, 12 songs is a lot of songs. They only released 4 singles. It just was in a relatively good time span. So I want to draw back to Silhouette, because I said it's probably so far my favorite music video of the year. And that is seriously just because it's Muppets. I think it's so punk rock, and it is so cool and creative in an idea. Because it takes the whole, like, it's a small band in, like, a garage playing, and then, like, you like, the next scene they're on stage. Or it's like getting to the show kind of a thing. But it's just the band normally in like the small room. And then it's the Muppet versions. Like, I think one of them is like working. And I think that's the drummer. Like, he's actually like at his job. And the Muppet version's like, hey, we got to go do a show. The singer's like sleeping, and he like throws the alarm clock to wake him up or something like that. And it's the Muppet versions of them who are like going to the show and who are like gonna play, and it's really cool. It gives me like almost Foo Fighter-y vibes with how like silly it is, but it's so punk rock, you know. Like you see at the show, and it's at Smalls, which is a pretty cool venue here in Michigan, and it's a room full of people just rocking out hardcore to Muppets playing on stage, and I love every second of it. It is so cool. 401k is my favorite song because it really kind of hits with just kind of like the state of people growing up in their 20s and 30s right now. I'm 29. I'll be 30 here in about a little over 2 months. And, you know, as someone who looks forward in his life thinking like, where am I seriously going to be in 5 to 10 years? You know, and thinking about like retirement 30 years down the road, and just like growing up in the last 10 years of my life, this song kind of really resonates with me on that. A big part of the song talks about like where are all the friends gone that I had or something like that. That kind of really hit me because by the time you're in your late 20s going into your 30s, your friends are your friends. Like that, like the friend group that you still have, you know, you've lost the friends that were like, oh, you know, they were friends in high school or maybe like college, but they weren't like close. They were just in your friend group. They're gone by now. That, you know, you might still have them on Facebook. You might say hi to them every once in a while, but they're not really your friends. They're just people you know. And this song, I don't know, man, it just really resonated with me on that. It's just a really good album. There's something I want to start doing, and it's not gonna only be punk bands, primarily punk bands that will go along with this. But you know, like Boy Detective, Killing Pixies both follow under this. So does No Skull. Those are all like bands I've done reviews for this year so far. We've got, I know of 2 other bands that I'm going to be working on reviews here, at least in the next month. But Middle Out, you'll be the first one to be awarded this. Your music belongs in a Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. If they make another one or whatever, your song belongs in there. Any of these songs, I personally would go with either Silhouette or 401k. However, like any of the songs off your album deserves to be in the video game. It harkens back to the days of, you know, rocking out, listening to like Guerrilla Radio or Blink-182. I know I said Guerrilla Radio, not Rage Against the Machine, but you know what I mean. While skating, I frequently still play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I make my own playlist. There's good music on the game. And then there's music I really don't like on the game. And I find that it's really easy to just make your own playlist and do that. And that way you can listen to music that you actually enjoy. I will be putting Middle Out on my playlist for Tony Hawk Pro Skater for sure. And yeah. Guys, like seriously, I can tell all the hard work and the love you've put into this album. It's so good. It is so good. The recording is so good. The mix is chef's kiss. It's so perfect. It gets me pumped up right off the bat. I mean, the first single gets me singing while, you know, when I was getting ready to record this, I literally was just jamming to that and singing along because it's so like, it just draws you in. And it's very aggressive. I would argue that there's no like lull on this album, or like, you know, there's not really like a ballady or like a drawback. It's just straight rocking, having a good time, getting mad about what's going on in your life or what's going on in the world. That's what this album is about, and I can tell that they cared a lot. Shout out, I want to give Punkerton Records a shout out because they are just a really cool record label that's coming out. And I was really pumped when The Boy Detective got signed by them because I love that band. Benny is one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And that's how I found Middle Out, was because of Punkerton Records and Benny seeing like, oh, I found that record company. Oh, this band. Oh, this album really sounds good. I unfortunately mistakenly took Middle Out for a different band that I thought we had played with at Corktown, and I was wrong, and I really wish we would have played with them because I really like them. I'm hoping Proper Acts gets the chance to jam and share the stage with Middle Out because, man, they sound really cool, and they seem like cool people. I've watched a few interviews on videos like that was on their Facebook, and they seem like some really cool people. Benny's talked. I talked to Benny a little bit about them, and he really likes them. So, I think them and The Boy Detective are doing a show together, or like a festival. So, but yeah, go check out Middle Out. It is so good. Check out the whole album, jam out to it, play Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and yeah, have a killer day. Thank you all for watching my video. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. We're building this community more and more. I've got more album reviews coming down the road. Next up, I think, is going to be a different style band, but I think a lot of you are going to like it. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to surprise you all. Have a great day. Jack Punkington signing up. Peace, everyone.